Cervical mucus is one of the most important indicators your body gives you to announce it's time to get pregnant. So in this video, I'm going to break down why changes in cervical mucus should be tracked to enhance your fertility, as well as some problem signs and how to make more of it so you can triple your chances of pregnancy naturally. I'm Susanna Pueyes, and I practice Asian and functional medicine. I'm a licensed acupuncturist and herbalist, and I help women triple their chances of pregnancy naturally, all while feeling happy, enjoying the journey, boosting their libido and their energy. So, what is cervical mucus? Cervical mucus indicates high peak fertility during your mid-cycle. So, middle of the cycle, your estrogen climbs, and that indicates that there is a shift towards ovulation. So if you have any discharge throughout the month that might be white or slightly clear or thick and pasty, this is not what I'm talking about. During the middle of the cycle, that discharge, if any, should change into an egg-like, clear, long, stringy type of mucus. And it lasts anywhere from 2 to 4 days before peak ovulation. And this is very strategic so that it lubricates and guides the sperm's voyage to meet the egg to fertilize. And so that is the importance of having healthy, juicy, ripe, long cervical mucus. And so anything else throughout the month might be just general discharge or even something problematic. So if mid-cycle you tend to wipe a little bit more when you go to the restroom, that's an indication of an abundant amount of cervical mucus. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it might be time to start tracking your cycle, especially during the ovulation period. If you are having regular cycles, this should be within 14 or 15 days, mid-month. And so a free and easy way to do that is just to pay attention to your body after your next period. You don't need an app, you don't need anything fancy, just start to pay attention after your cycle and see, oh, that is cervical mucus. And that is going to indicate that you are going to be ovulating and that the body wants to help the sperm reach the ovary. So when there are signs of problems with ovulation, or when you're not even having cervical mucus, those need to be addressed to optimize your fertility. So what is really happening? And so one of the problems could be obvious hormone imbalances, especially PCOS and endo. A lot of these hormone imbalances tend to lack ovulation. So if you have PCOS, you might not be ovulating and you might not be getting this cervical mucus. So from a holistic point of view, rather than jumping to IUI or IVF, that's just going to stimulate eggs, you have to spend some time addressing the bigger environment as to let's balance out your hormones, especially estrogen and testosterone and those androgens, so that you can start producing your own cervical mucus and you can start ovulating on your own for the first time ever. And that is going to boost your chances of pregnancy and even your chances of successful IUI and IVF. So you just have to look at the bigger picture. And PCOS and endo, a lot of women don't ovulate, so there's no cervical mucus. So that is the starting point with that. The second, the other reasons that there might not be cervical mucus or there's signs of trouble is low estrogen. And so we have three different types of estrogen, and we want really good estradiol. It's a really protective estrogen. Most women, even without hormonal imbalances that are very obvious, are very estrogen dominant. That's environmental and that's toxic estrogen. If you have PCOS, if you have endo, if you have fibroids or known hormonal imbalances, it's an estrogen dominant condition, but that's not the root cause. Okay. And so if we have low estrogen or low estradiol, then that needs to be addressed, because that means that the estrogen isn't rising during this follicular phase where you are building those follicles to ovulate. And all of that goes hand in hand with this cervical mucus. So low estrogen is a big problem, and it's not based off of, your eggs are too old or maternal age. There could be environmental problems in the body coming in and affecting the body and the cells, and that's at every age. So PCOS, endo, low estrogen at any age. And also there could be low thyroid or some thyroid imbalances that could be getting in the way of estrogen development. And overall, all of these need to be looked at. So appropriate testing for all estrogen levels as well as your thyroid may be needed if you're not producing a lot of cervical mucus during the mid-cycle. One of the other problems that really doesn't get talked about a lot, but it's really, really imperative to address, is infections and imbalances in the good and the bad bacteria. And so when there is too much of this thick and pasty vaginal discharge, especially if it's throughout the entire month, that may be too much of not a good thing. And so if there is, too much thickness, or even if there's a smell, or if it's a little bit on the yellow side, it's a little bit of veering towards infection like BV, or overgrowth of yeast, candida, which is just strep bacteria. So it really goes back to what is going on in your gut. And so that really needs to be addressed, because it always goes back to the mother of your fertility, which is your diet. And all of that, reflects in your uterine and vaginal environment, especially when we talk about, are you having appropriate cervical mucus? And so we want cervical mucus throughout the mid-cycle that is long and stringy. But if it's continuously thick and pasty or even yellowy with a strong smell, that really needs to be addressed, and we address it via digestion. Okay? And so how do you get more of it? You're trying to have a baby, and you may have noticed, I don't have a lot of it. So how do you get more of it? And even if you do have it, how do you get juicier and riper and just more, so we can aid the sperm's voyage to the egg? It always goes back to what I just mentioned before. Regardless of infection or imbalances in the gut, we have to address your digestion, because the digestion is the mother of your fertility. Think about it this way. Your belly makes about 80% of your immune cells as well as your hormonal cells. So if things are not right and balanced in your digestive tract, it is going to manifest in other areas of your body. If you're having thicker mucus than usual, not at the right time, then we have to go back to the mother. So this ultimately goes back to, what foods are you eating? Are you eating too many fats and proteins? Are you just eating protein because somebody said you have to have protein, and fat for healthy egg quality? And so are you just eating keto type or paleo type, low carb, high fat, high protein? Is your diet too acidic? Goes back to digestion. Are you eating enough antioxidants, or are you prioritizing fats and proteins to create this acidic type heavy environment that's reflecting on lack of really positive cervical mucus mid-cycle and just constant vaginal discharge, which doesn't really serve you for fertility purposes? And one of the other things that needs to be addressed as you increase cervical mucus is what meds you are on. Pharmaceutical medications could really impact your cervical mucus. Ironically, medications like Clomid, Letrozole tend to thin the lining of the uterus and kind of dry up some of the cervical mucus mid-cycle. So if you've been put on these drugs so that you can get ready for, you can create more eggs because your OBGYN, that's their solution, or you're getting ready for IUI or IVF, these meds can change the viscosity, the texture, even the amount of the cervical mucus that you may already be producing, which is a good thing. Other things like antibiotics, they tend to clear out the good, the bad, everything in between of all of your microbiome, your digestion. So antibiotics are a triple whammy that we want to stay away from at all costs, because the microbiome is essential to you producing cervical mucus, the hormones, and all of the microbiome and the biome ecology in your vagina. Okay. And so other prescription drugs like metformin, they can leach out B vitamins. So you could have nutritional deficiencies from medications. So all of these, you want to look at the side effects. You want to understand what you're putting in your body and if it's necessary at all. And definitely, with digestion, it needs to be addressed. What are you eating? How much fat? How much protein are you prioritizing? What medications are you on or have you been on that your body hasn't recovered from? It has like PTSD from taking all of these fertility meds or other meds. And most importantly, if you don't do anything at all, you have to hydrate. All of the cells, the majority of the composition of your cells, your egg cells, everything in your body is water. You have to prioritize good hydration, a lot of hydration for what your unique needs are, not eight cups a day because that's the standard recommendation. Your body may not need that, and you may need to switch up what type of water you are consuming. But hydrate. It's so important for all of your egg cells, and to flush out the good, the bad, the not necessary bacteria in the body that could be disrupting things. It could, it's just flushing you out of any toxins and just helping things move along. And this is really what I center on with my private clients in my programs, my Womb and Bloom programs that help women triple their chances of pregnancy naturally, whether you have tried IVF or IUI, or you're not going in that direction. You always have to look at the bigger picture, the holistic picture, because it's not, your hormones and what is going on with your fertility is a reflection of what may be going on with your digestion, the mother of your fertility, what may be going on with your immune system, what ultimately is going on with your mind and these connections between the brain and the ovaries and all of this stuff. It's all connected, and you can definitely make so many adjustments in your internal and external environment that will benefit your egg quality, because it really comes down to your egg quality. And cervical mucus is a really great indicator of these healthy shifts in your cycle at the right time, and these healthy shifts that can tell you how healthy your hormones are, your hormone levels, especially that really great estrogen, so that you can ovulate. And so if you're having any trouble, or if you're curious about getting more support from a holistic point of view, you're always welcome to book a free fertility breakthrough session with me where we go over your unique needs, because everybody is specific to, what medications you may have tried, what your stress level is, what you're eating. So everything is unique to you, and we've got to break down what roadmap would be specific to you. But in general, start to pay attention to your cervical mucus. It is a healthy indicator of where your hormones are shifting for the positive, or look for problem signs. And if you want more info, like I said, go ahead and book your free fertility breakthrough session with me so we can discuss it and see where and when you can start to triple your chances of pregnancy naturally.